7 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We are going to start with our Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. Jamie, if you could do roll call.
Blackburn.
Present.
Durrani.
Here.
Hageman.
Here.
Howard.
Here.
Mashikian.
Here.
McAlexander.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Thank you very much. Next is approval of the agenda.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The only business we have on this agenda for tonight is approval of the August 25th, 2025 meeting minutes. Is there an approval for the minutes?
I move we approve the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is public comment. Is there any public comment pertaining to the ZBA meeting from last month? Seeing none, I am going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Meeting adjourned at 7:01. Quick. It is 7:02. I'm going to call a meeting to order. This is for our regular council meeting. Jamie, roll call.
Yeah. Miller.
Here.
McAlexander.
Here.
Mashikian.
Here.
Howard. Hageman.
Present.
Durrani.
Here.
Blackburn.
Here. Thank you very much. Is there an approval for the agenda?
Also move.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is the approval of the regular council meeting minutes from October 27th of 2025. Is there a motion?
I move to accept the meeting minutes from October 27th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we're going to open it up for public comments not on the published agenda. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, we're going to move on to discussion topics and start with our police department monthly report. Chief is here. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Are there any questions on the monthly report I submitted?
I just have one question.
Sure,
You guys got 2 flock cameras.
correct.
Do we know where they are or where you put them up?
So the Village of Franklin authorized it. For the first year, it's a contract of 3 years. For the first year, I used forfeiture funds, but the next 2 years after that will be out of the Franklin Village Fund, so you won't be billed for that. What's really good about these cameras is it allows us access to over 900 cameras that are throughout Oakland County. The 2 cameras that Franklin purchased will be in the historic district where we have most of our large gatherings of people. And it'll be basically taking pictures of license plates that enter the village on both 14 Mile in Franklin and 13 Mile in Franklin. Any other questions?
An incident at 13 and Telegraph on a Friday evening, I think, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so are you talking about a car crash?
Well, when I saw the emergency vehicles, I turned around and went back west to Franklin Road. I didn't even try to get any closer. So
If it's the same incident that I believe
Road was
I'm going to
closed.
reference,
Yeah.
it was a 3-car personal injury accident, so we had several injuries. The fire department came out, did a great job, helped out those that injured, and then individuals were transported to the hospital. The road was closed for a short time. We thought we had a vehicle that fled the scene, and we weren't sure if we were missing someone from one of the cars, which wasn't the case. So, yeah, the road was closed down for a short period of time.
yeah. That's good.
Anything else with the I just want to remind the residents of one thing, that the police department does house checks when you go on vacation. You can go on our website, which is franklin.mi.us, fill out the form. You can email it to us or just drop it off at the station, say hi to us, and we will randomly check your residence. Okay?
Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh,
Can I ask Chief a question?
we have one question.
Yes, sir.
Chief, as I recall, it was mentioned earlier that there was a $6,000 a year fee for each camera, is that correct?
For both cameras, 3,000 each.
3,000.
So the reason we invested in these cameras is that that was the minimum amount that we could invest in as an agency our size to get access to those cameras throughout Oakland County.
Thank you.
Chief.
Next, we have the fire department monthly report. Chief is here.
Good evening. You also have our written report. There was one item to add to that. We did have a building fire on Bristol Court on October 24th. This was a small fire. It took place in the garage. While the fire itself was contained within the garage, smoke did travel throughout the home. There was one person transported to the hospital, and that was one of the residents. With that said, the residents, I'm not sure if they're back yet, but we spent a good amount of time discussing moving forward with them and what was going on. We did not feel, the fire department did not feel that there was anything nefarious involved. Rather, this originated with a tractor mower that had some leaves on it from the most recently fallen leaves. So with that said, my belief is that the homeowner did get released within several hours of going to the hospital just to get checked out. And the village was notified the same day. I called up Jamie, Manager Moore. Is that your title? Manager Moore? Okay, sorry. But I did make a phone call just to advise.
She's more than a manager.
Yes. All encompassing. It sounds like a Monty Python scene, so I'll stop while I'm behind. Needless to say, we're very sorry that it occurred, and I felt very bad for the residents. I do want to, I don't want to provide names in a public forum, but I do want to say that as the heavens do things that are a bit unnatural, the family's son was visiting back from being away at school, and he was the one who observed the fire and roused the homeowner who was taking a nap. So this could have gone a very, very, very different way had he not decided to come home when he did. So we're very thankful that he not only came home, saw the incident, went inside, found the other homeowner, and roused them and evacuated the structure. So we're very, very happy for that. So pending your questions, that'll conclude my report.
Any questions?
Bless
Chief,
you. Yes.
did any of your first responders who are trained in EMS kind of things
Mhm.
come into play in this incident? Or in other words, you said he was transported to the hospital. Did your folks
No.
take him?
No, we had, so you bring up an interesting question. The short answer is no, we did not. The longer answer is Star EMS, who is our agreed upon provider, was very quick to arrive at the scene. I had spoken with Star EMS, not related to this incident, but because of their staffing levels at this point, and because the squeaky wheel gets the grease, they are staffing a Star EMS unit more often at Maple and Telegraph in that intersection. So if you're driving along there and you see an ambulance sitting in the parking lot, it's looking over us in Franklin Bingham Farms. It's providing backup coverage for the city of Southfield, as well as primary coverage for Bloomfield Hills Public Safety. So they're doing theirs, but the bigger issue that you bring up is, did we transport? So the answer again was no. We are in the process right now with transport capability of going through the Medicare and major insurance companies for registration. Having a 43-day shutdown of the federal government certainly didn't help because this process normally takes months anyway. But we are involved in that at this point.
When do you anticipate that your unit will be fully functional? Because you did purchase all the necessary physical
Well,
equipment.
we already had the equipment except for the stretcher.
Right.
So that gets into another discussion area, because in order to transport, you need personnel, and if there's a structure fire going on at the same time, in a department that only has 2 paid persons in the station, that limits capabilities. So, but that's not just for the sake of Franklin or Bingham Farms, that's the sake for every fire department, managing need with available resources, and we do use mutual aid between our different agencies. So the anticipation right now is to get the ability to be registered with the insurance companies and Medicare, and then moving forward, making hard decisions as to how do we allocate personnel.
Who would make the call? Would it be made at the scene?
Our personnel, whether they can invoice for services or not, are already authorized to make that call. So we are a licensed basic life support service, acting under the auspices of the Oakland County Medical Control Authority, part of the state of Michigan legislation. And it becomes, there are issues that are presented, the medical protocols that we face in terms of how to act, what care to provide, how to proceed. Plus, as a basic service, we certainly don't want to cause any additional potential harm to a patient. So in terms of the patient profile that we would transport, it's going to be it depends. It depends on what the patient is suffering from. It depends on what the patient needs. It depends on where the ambulance is coming from. So if we are looking at, say, a cardiac type of a response, which this was not, someone has chest pains, respiratory distress, things like that, if we have to wait an extra 5 or 10 minutes for the ambulance, they will have the necessary medications in order to provide care, rather than us delaying that care by going to the hospital. It sounds like it doesn't make sense, but this is exactly the way the system is set up. For things like suspected strokes, things like traumatic incidents, things like psychological responses, mental health issues, things like that where it's more of a basic response in nature, our crews are able to make that decision to transport if the situation requires it. And we've performed some limited transports to date. So we are looking at balancing the availability of the STAR EMS unit, balancing the personnel that are on scene, and the personnel, and we just, yesterday, I think, we had 2 runs back to back. We're seeing those more often. So we want to make sure that we can provide coverage. We want to make sure that we're obviously providing care for the patient, and we want to make sure that we can perform what services are required at the scene with the personnel that are there. So if that fire was not just a medical, it was also a building fire. So we had a lot going on. I hope that answered your question.
It does.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is our village manager's report.
I don't have anything else to report besides what was in the packet. Besides, thank you for your patience while we're down a staff member. We're, as you know, a small staff, so without the treasuring right now, wearing a lot of hats. But thank you for your patience on that. And if there are any questions, let me know.
Well, I would appreciate it if you would let Bill know we're thinking about it.
I will.
And let me know.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, next is the Administrative Assistant Economic Development Coordinator report. Evgeny?
The only thing I wanted to add is an announcement that this week, due to Thanksgiving, Garbage Day will be delayed till Friday, and the following week, December 4th, will be the last day for yard waste collection with your trash pickup. That is all the announcements I have. You have my written report, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Any questions? Thank you very much. Moving to new business, we are going to discuss the Metropolitan Extension Telecommunication Right of Way Oversight, or Metro Act, permit application. And our attorney is here to introduce that.
Thank you. So the Metro Act in the state of Michigan was developed back in the early 2000s as an effort to have all of the communities responding in a similar way to all of the different telecommunication providers, and so that everyone is sort of dealing with this in the same way. There were some communities that was charging thousands and thousands for a permit, some communities not charging at all. And so the act allows for an applicant to receive a permit to install telecommunication, either apparatuses, devices, or actual conduit, for a permit for a minor fee. But once they receive the permit, then they work with the community as to how that's going to occur. Whether or not it's something that's going to be like a co-location up on a tower that already exists, or if it's going to be on a particular building or a rooftop. New things that we have coming forward now have to do with fiber optics and have to do with new companies coming from other places, other states, and handling their business model a little differently. Easy Fiber is one of those. Easy Fiber is a company out of the state of Texas with their primary business around Houston. They have gained a large presence in a suburb of Chicago in Illinois, and now they are wanting to infiltrate most of Oakland County, some parts of Macomb, and some parts of Wayne County. What makes them different is that they are putting in a fiber optic conduit that would be everywhere in your village, and then they would sell the product for internet services only to the residents. So the permit that they are seeking is to simply get the permit to come into the community, come on the right-of-way, and do work for the benefit of their business. The challenging part is the Metro Act frankly ties our hands pretty tight. It says that we cannot unreasonably withhold a permit. Where this gets a little tricky, and I've worked with Easy Fiber and my other 3 communities as well, particularly in Birmingham, we had them up at the podium for well over an hour. I've been on the phone with them personally multiple times. I've had Zoom meetings with them. And I've told them I quite frankly don't like this. I think it's overreaching. I think it's too much. So what they do is they'll come into like the end of one roadway, they do a directional boring, they come through the entire block with the fiber optic underground, and then they bring it up on the other side. So there's 2 holes that they make into the public right-of-way. And then if someone wants to obtain their services, then they'll take a line from that main line up into the private property, and they put this little other plastic thing. The other thing that they do that I'm not wild about is they have these, and I'm sure if you looked in the packet, they had some pictures of it. They have these large metal cases that look like the DTE cases, and those will appear also on public property. So my question to them is, who wants that big ugly thing in their community? None of my clients. And what are you going to do to make them look better, and where are you going to put them? So in going back and forth with Easy Fiber, we've made it very clear that we understand the Metro Act really doesn't give us a lot of leeway as a community to say no. But what we do have are ordinances that prescribe how your right-of-way is touched, utilized, and what protections to make sure it goes back to the original state. We also want to know what protections are there for the residents, that this is going to be done in the most quiet, quick, efficient way without disturbing their lives, and how are they going to respond if we're not happy with what they've done. Who's going to be a direct contact for your manager and me, if you need it, to say, get back over here and clean this up. So what they have provided to me are different examples of license agreements that they've entered into with other communities, and we've made it very clear that we are going to utilize those license agreements, and we're going to hold them to it. And otherwise, we're just frankly going to drive them nuts till they do what they promised to do for the community. So on the one hand, I'm going to recommend that you approve the permit, but I can assure you that once they start getting ready to work, that they're going to work through my office to make sure that we have the agreements in place that protect you and your residents in your right-of-way. And they're not there yet. So what they have to do are some very complex engineering studies. They have to do some studies as to where infrastructure is, where the other utilities are. They have some sort of device that goes over the roadways to help them identify where's a safe place to dig, what isn't a safe place to dig. None of those engineering studies have begun in any community, frankly. And once they start doing that, they have to submit those plans for review. And they have to go through, I'm sure you'll share them with their engineering consultant to make sure that they're done correctly. Once they do that is when I'll get busy with them entering into these license agreements that are pretty decent. They're pretty cumbersome and they're pretty exacting. So I can assure you that we will make sure that the license agreement is there to protect all of you in your right-of-way.
So who selected them?
They select communities.
Okay, and how much is this going to cost?
It doesn't cost us as a community anything, nor should we ever pay anything, but it's up to whether or not the customer wants to go. So the private residents would go into an agreement. It's no different than WOW or Comcast. The difference is this is all underground. And their business model is that it's internet only and it's one price forever and ever and ever. It doesn't change, it doesn't go up. So they make this commitment to the resident that if whatever the agreement is, that's what it stays forever. What I can't comprehend is why would they spend all the money that they would spend in the engineering studies, the development, the working with attorneys. You know, there's how many communities in Oakland County, right? And yet they don't even know how many customers they have yet. One of the other things, conversely, is, you know, they're here to make money, right? So they're going to do everything in their power to make everybody happy, because if they have a happy customer, that customer is going to tell another customer, and they're going to make more money. So it does behoove them to do things well, and it does behoove them to make people happy, because it's about making money.
So does this mean they're the only ones that can do this?
No, others could come forward and do this also. This is just the first of its kind to be so extensive. And I quite frankly ask them, say, okay, what if I say to my clients that I think that this is an unreasonable reach, right? Because we have to give a permit. We can't unreasonably withhold a permit. What if we tell you that your reach is unreasonable? What are you going to do? You're going to take us to task? You're going to take us to court?
Exactly.
And I didn't get a no.
But that's exactly.
So, yes.
Right, yes, that's
Yes.
the point.
So if you don't approve the permit, there is that chance of litigation, which would be expensive for you.
Yeah.
It's not worth it, to be frank.
But there might,
There's many things
it
you
may
could
be a
do
bluff
before it
too.
goes to court.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
It might be a bluff
It
too.
might be a bluff, but you don't need it, right? You don't need it.
So this is different because whoever, Comcast, WOW, and whoever is already on the polls,
Yes.
right? They could have come in and said, we want to be on the poll too, and they could have done that under the same pretense, right?
Right.
And so this is unique because they want to do it underground, so whatever intrusion they're going to have is different than what people are used to with the cable people hanging cables on the poles.
Yes, and because we all know things on poles go badly, right? That's why we lose power, because DTE,
Well, right.
you know, we just had a reno done, or like an addition put on over our garage, and it was very cumbersome with DTE because they mandated their lines go underground now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we had to get an easement
Yeah,
right
so
away from
all
our
new communities
neighbor.
are all going underground.
Yep, yep.
And the Metro Act, from what I understand, says we can't unreasonably say no. We have to say yes in certain bounds.
Yep.
So that's what's limiting us, and it's allowing, and the Metro Act allows this and other types of things. I don't know what else it covers, but it doesn't matter. Cable companies to be able to come in and be on the poles or
Underneath,
wherever they have come up with. Okay.
yes.
Well,
you
what if
said that
AT&T
correctly.
did fiber optic? I mean,
Then they can do it too.
yeah.
Well, they do, but it's
That's
on
what I
the
thought.
poles.
Right, but if they
Yeah.
choose
But
to
another
go under,
company can
yeah.
come in and choose to use. And so my next question is, it sounds it's wonderful that you represent other communities around here, so our whatever word I can think of, our collective bargaining, whatever you want to
Yeah.
Right, you're aware of others, but I guess my question after all that is, like, they're doing all of Oakland County, they're doing all of Michigan, like, how can more than the ones you represent all help each other? You know, somebody in Lansing has figured out not Lansing, I picked Lansing bad, Ann Arbor. Somebody in Ann Arbor, some community in Ann Arbor has figured out something to do or
Right.
not to do. What can you do to know any of that help you can get?
I would like to, well, first let's say that there are those communities that are, how do I want to say this? I'm very conservative. My legal opinions are very conservative. My recommendations to you keep you in I'm not a risk
True.
taker.
Right.
So I probably maybe look at this differently than other city attorneys. They would say, it's coming, change is coming. If it's not them, it's somebody else. Let's just do the best we can. I tend to be a worrywart. I tend to be conservative. So that's why these license agreements are so important. So I would just hope that other attorneys are thinking that through.
Sure.
You got a lot of good municipal attorneys around, and we talk to each other.
Okay.
So, and I will say, Easy Fiber knows that these license agreements are important, so if they're, they hear me saying it, they're gonna start pushing them out to other people as well, because, it's just easier to be on the front end. I will tell you, we Googled them a lot. One of our associates fancies herself like a little PI, and she's like, "Ooh, read this bad stuff." And we called them out on it publicly. Like, this says right here, you're bad. Now what? And they did their best to explain it and take responsibility for it, and got their promise that won't be us, right? That will not be any of my clients, right? Because I will be a pain. So, nothing can be perfect. We're going to do our very best, but I assure you that we'll work hard for it.
So Mary,
Yes, ma'am.
historically, those communities that have been set up, what are they charging for internet service?
In all of that, I'm not quite sure. It was,
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was pretty inexpensive compared, but I don't
Well,
recall.
if they're the ones that have the fiber optic that we have to
Well,
pay.
AT&T, it's all
No, we
fiber
don't
optic.
pay.
It's just another option.
Yeah, it's just.
Just another
It's
option
good
for the
us because
consumer.
now we have AT&T and Comcast, and we get another one.
Yeah,
So that's good,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't pay.
as a customer, not as a village.
Right, a
company.
customer would pay.
Yeah,
Right,
we don't.
but it
Do you have
maybe, is
something
it
to
less or is it more?
Just hang
Yeah.
on.
Not that
Chief
Mary
wanted
needs
something
my
to say.
backup here, but when I was
I always do, Chief. All day long, twice on
the
Sunday.
administrative role in Franklin, we took this same issue up, and we had our attorneys look at it as well, and they came to the same conclusion that really there's not a whole lot you can do. I had a lot of discussion with that company. I felt pretty comfortable with a lot of their answers that they gave us, so the board in Franklin voted it yes as well, but
Do you remember the gentleman that you were talking to?
not off the top of my head, but
Somebody else?
Okay.
Okay.
I can circle back to you, but
All
I
right.
just want to confirm, like,
Thanks.
exactly what you said is 100% what we found.
See, I told you I needed that.
That's right.
Thank you.
But did you say that there's a suburban Chicago community that has this up and going already?
Yes.
What was their experience like?
So mixed. So some of the reviews were, they didn't leave the end of my street looking very nice. I didn't see anything from the communities. I just saw from customers. They put like these pots, they call them pots, or like a metal plate on the end of someone's property line. We would have nothing to do with that because it's on a private property. But some would say they didn't cover it nicely. I wasn't happy with this. I didn't read anything that said anything about that the internet was slower, or actually that I think got some good reviews. So, you're right, competition's good for the consumer.
Yeah.
Drives prices down, and
How long has that Chicago one been up and going?
few years. And they've been in Houston for longer than a few years, and they've just popping into eastern Michigan probably. They've been knocking on our doors since about maybe February, March. And in fact, we meaning communities, we're supposed to answer within 35 or 45 days of these permit applications. And we pushed back hard enough, then I got them to also agree on the record publicly that they won't hold us to the statute. So they've been cooperative in that because they know we're not happy and they're doing everything they can to cooperate. So I'll give them that credit, because they could have held our feet to the fire and they did not. they wanted us to get comfortable first.
Now, are we
Is there a
allowed,
known- Is there a known competitor to this company?
There's hundreds. of
All,
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
hundreds.
But I mean, who's been knocking on our door?
No, no one else, well, not underground to this extent yet,
Not yet.
yet, but I'm sure they'll come.
Can another company use their infrastructure?
That's what I'm hoping. They don't really do, I don't think they do like a conduit, but I think that the boring would be large enough, I would think another fiber optic could partner, but they'd probably have to get permission from them to be on top of their equipment.
They'll get some revenue out of it,
You would
either
think,
way.
right?
But they'll probably be able to use their infrastructure. Because there's a very long list of approved suppliers through the state of Michigan, many of which are Michigan companies. So this company is a Texas company. They're going to use subcontractors from North Carolina. Best I can tell, this is a portfolio company. What's the name of the company? Easy Texas. They're a portfolio company of a very large private equity in Miami. So they probably got big money. And they're just going to come in and roll over your communities and figure out a way to be the first to have this infrastructure in. Other people can use it, but they'll pay a fee for it.
I think you got
And
that summed up
ultimately,
pretty
we'll pay
smart.
for it. Yeah.
It doesn't feel good.
It's, and again, if it's not them, it's going to be somebody else, so.
But if it was 123 net out of Southfield, I'd be applauding it.
They haven't applied yet? 123 net? I'm surprised. They have in other communities as well. They've already applied to Birmingham as well, too.
I switched from AT&T to 123 net at my company. Beautiful. And I can't understand why they're not on top of this. So
I think they're
please,
just
if you're
moving a little
listening,
slower.
yeah,
I think
do
they're just
something.
moving a little slower.
Yeah.
I think they'll make their way.
You're just saying the opinion of coming from Texas and other states versus.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a
next
local
door.
company.
123 net can do it.
I'd rather keep the money in,
Yeah.
Michigan,
at all
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, it's hard to find much, I ran a DMV on them. They're a pretty small company. So their money's coming from, I'm again guessing, is coming from private equity.
Mhm.
And it's, and the company they're connected to, whether it's through investment or if it's a portfolio company, is a very large international multi-billion-dollar private equity company.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, there was a suggested motion.
May I just ask one more question? Could we, in all good consciousness, contact 123 out of South?
I personally would not recommend you go request
Yeah.
companies come to you, because then there's some nexus between you and that company. So these companies know what they're doing, they know where they want to be, they know where they want to put their money. Let them come to you, not vice versa.
They may want somebody else to put the infrastructure.
Yeah?
This is expensive. These fiber optic cables, this is an expensive proposition.
It is.
Now, that's another thing I don't understand. Are they going to go ahead and run this infrastructure through the entire right-of-way of the village? Or are they just going to have it available? I heard your explanation of horizontal boring, directional boring, whatever you want to call it. But I don't, are they just going to have like some kind of access point on an as-need basis? Or are they going to
No.
go ahead and trench every?
Did you see their map?
Yeah, I did.
It's extensive.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
But to your point, they may go down, they may not do Sager until I say I want it on Sager.
Right, yeah.
Right. They may pick and choose. So we'll have to see the
Right.
plan that their engineers come up with,
Yeah.
and they'll have to get the special permit, and then that's when the license will kick, and we'll know more then.
I saw the map, and everything seems to be feeding off of Bingham Road,
Yeah, it's
except our Outland Trail. There's no red line connecting Outland Trail to anything else within the village. So it almost looks like we're a standalone.
yeah.
We'll have to just wait for their engineering.
That's not the engineering drawing. This
Yeah,
one here.
we'll just have to
They're
wait
just
for
saying
that.
they're just saying every road,
Yeah.
because they have this one down here drawn, and that's not a real road.
So we're,
They're just
Ah,
saying that every road.
I think so.
They don't know.
Because then there's your outland access is 14 mile.
Mary-
If they're running it on 14
Yeah,
mile as well.
they have to come with engineering drawings, that's just a.
Yeah.
Right, this is
That's just an
preliminary.
estimate. This is preliminary estimate. We're coming to your community.
so if I understood this, or what you had said before, can we charge them to come in? Or is that
Only the permit fee,
only the permit fee?
yes, and that's because of the Metro
That's
Act.
what Metro covers.
Okay. Is that renewable, or is that,
Nope.
It's a
One permit fee.
one-time fee.
How much do we charge?
Is it, how much is it?
Oh, it's cheap, it's like $500.
Yeah,
Something like 50 bucks?
Yeah, it's like $500.
It's nothing, yeah.
The state of Michigan back in around 2000. So then there's other monies that they, when I say they, I'm talking all these companies, pay to the state, and then there's a portion that each community gets from the state. So that's where the money is purportedly made up from the state.
How many other communities are being approached by them?
All of them?
Locally?
A lot. Almost all of Oakland County, most of Macomb, part of Wayne, northern Wayne.
How many?
And that's what, more than 300?
Something like that, yeah.
Wow.
How many does 1, 2, 3 have?
I don't know. I don't
But
know.
they could come in too, right?
Right.
Well,
They are, they're
that's the
coming
real
into other
question is,
communities.
can they, if the infrastructure's here, can other people use it?
It's a different
Because
business.
Yeah,
once
and
it's
it
in,
depends
people-
upon their business plan, like how far they dig. I mean, it's so hard to say. We're trying to predict a future that's uncharted territory, so we'll just have to wait and see.
They seem to want to wrap this up really quick.
Yeah.
Who, this company?
Yes.
Well, the statute says that from application, and as long as the application's legal, which it is, from application to issuance shall not be longer than 45 days. They have allowed us, when did they first apply?
It's been more than 45 days.
Oh,
They've been
yeah,
accommodating, yeah.
Yeah, they've been very accommodating. They've let us drag our feet a lot.
Mhm.
They have not held our feet to the statute's fire.
So the bottom line is, you don't see any recommendation why we can say no.
I see no recommendation for why you'd want to say no, because you would be probably inviting unwelcome litigation.
Yeah, okay.
Can we delay a vote until they give us an answer on if that infrastructure is going to be able to be used by other suppliers or other companies?
We could put it off, I guess, 1 month. There may be some problem with that, because again, we're not compliant with the statute. And that may not be something they're ready to answer yet either.
It's just hard, because again, I agree, I completely agree with Mike, it's more competition. But if they come in and they've got big money and they can afford to put in the infrastructure, and then nobody else can use that infrastructure, and nobody else is going to put in to do the money, then we got one more person competing, but,
But we don't know what their infrastructure is yet.
yeah.
I don't know if they're actually putting in conduit or they're just running their line. So
Yeah.
if they're just running their line, there is
Exactly.
no infrastructure.
Exactly.
Because the ground is still right-of-way, it's still ours. So if they put one here and one here, there's nothing for any other entity to say, it's your right-of-way. If they're building actual conduit, and then whether or not they would rent or lease that to another entity, I don't know. I don't think we know any of those things until we get the engineering outline in their plan. And then once they have their plan, and that's something that we can investigate in the license agreement, that we would prefer that they find a way to open their conduit to others' use, but they would probably receive the revenues.
They'll get something out of the deal, that's for
If
sure.
that's how they're doing it, and
Right.
I'm not sure yet.
But if we delay it, whatever the answer is, it's not gonna change what we need to do.
That's what I said.
All we're doing is simply,
Issuing the permit.
right,
Yeah.
If they say
Making
yes or
them-
no, how's it gonna change?
But
You're just doing step one.
yeah.
Right.
There's many
Well,
other
that's a good
steps to
question,
follow.
though. So will all the other steps have votes?
No.
So we're agreeing to let them come in and
do
put
what they
this
want.
infrastructure. That's
We're
what we're
knowing
doing.
so little what they're gonna
Yeah.
do. We don't even know what they're going to do.
Yes, we do. We know that they're
Are they
going to,
doing conduit?
we're going to find that out with the engineering plan. You know what you can see, though, that can come in front of you is the actual license agreements that we develop. So we can bring that to you for a vote of acceptance.
Yeah.
So then, everything that we're talking about, I can address and make sure it's in there. And then you guys can have the right to look at that license agreement and vote to enter into it or not, or with tweaking and things like that. So that's a good plan. We can do that.
That makes a lot more sense to
Sure.
me.
Yeah.
Because this
Okay.
feels, as a private business person, this feels awful.
Yeah.
So the first step of just what you're issuing is the permit. That means you get to come on the land, the right-of-way, you get to take measurements, you get to look at it, develop your engineering plan. then we take it from there. And we'll make sure then that license agreement comes back in front of you.
Does the permit allow us to insist if they lay conduit that somebody else could go into that same conduit?
I'm not sure we can insist upon that, because if this is their property inside, I don't know if we can insist that others get in there for free, but, I can talk to them about this and see what we can come up with.
Because what if the residents are unhappy with their service?
Then they stop the service and they don't
Then the
go in.
conduit is still there.
It's underground.
But it's underground, it's not
You won't see
affecting,
it.
it's not
I know, but-
affecting.
Yeah, it's still there though, yeah.
And somebody else could possibly have access to it.
That's what
if
I
they're
would,
not
that's
happy
what
with
I
their
would,
service.
that's exactly what I would hope,
Yeah.
yeah. Exactly what I would hope.
They could sell it to
Capitalism.
Yeah, they could sell it to
They don't
somebody if
sell
they're not
the
using it anymore.
service,
They
then
could
it's
sell
gonna
it.
If they
go
go
away.
bankrupt, they
Yeah.
sell it off, and
Right.
somebody
Right.
else, 1, 2,
Can
3
use
buys
it.
it.
Right.
But AT&T does have fiber optic, because we have fiber optic into our house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's on the pole.
So it's on the poles. But these guys are not gonna go underground,
Mhm.
keep it away from the poles.
It's not
Okay.
that different than the lines, right?
I mean, they still have to take it underground to our house,
I
so.
mean,
Yeah.
people have the right to put the lines in the right-of-ways,
Mhm.
right? So there was
Right.
nothing, people couldn't say, I don't like that, or what if you don't have I mean, it's the same thing, it's just underground now.
Yes.
Right.
I have one more question. I came home, my clocks are all flashing again. Outages, 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 because of DTE being above ground.
Right.
Is there some way that these folks might have DTE share their conduit?
Probably
No,
not.
not hot power lines.
Yeah, that, probably not an entity like
No.
DTE, but DTE is changing. They intend to be underground fully everywhere at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds as though two things are almost happening simultaneously, and somebody up there has got something figured out that we don't know about.
Well, it's probably a better way, so.
My problem is just when we do get the details, there's no vote. We're giving up control, we're giving up our ability to decide when we know.
So as far as issuing the permit goes, unfortunately, the Metro Act is quite strict, and we don't have a lot of power or control. What we have power and control over is how our right-of-way is treated, how it's used, to assure that it's put back in its original state, to make sure that there's no damage to your property, et cetera. That's what we do have power and control over, and that is the agreement that I'm going to make sure comes back to you when it's in a final state that protects you as much as possible.
But we're not giving them any money, we need no leverage to hold over them to do a good job.
So the leverage is what I was saying before. I think the leverage is money. If the village was very vocal and very public, saying, this is a terrible company, we don't like them, we had to do it, the state made us do it, we're not happy with them, you think your residents are going to want to go into a contract with them and buy their service?
Right.
My guess is no. So if they make us happy, then they have a chance of getting more contracts. And it may be a very good service for us consumers. It might be quite big, could be quite good, especially if it's half the price of what people are paying now.
Hypothetically, if the license agreement says they're gonna be putting in a 2-inch conduit underground, and we want a 8-inch conduit that'll accommodate any other future fibers that we wanna put in there, can we insist on that?
You cannot insist on that unless you want to put in your own conduit and charge rent. So there are communities in their downtown areas that have developed a conduit system, and we are allowed to charge rent per foot. That you can do if it's your conduit. But I don't think we can insist on a conduit where everybody goes in. That would be an unreasonable demand on their business system.
Is that rent pretty lucrative?
It is.
It is.
It is.
And we're
Found your
small
new-
enough
you found-
village. Well, let's think entrepreneurial here, I mean,
City of Detroit was one of the first to do it, to build in a lot of conduit through the downtown area and charge rent.
we don't have that much space to worry about compared to other municipalities.
One more question from my side. You used the word, interesting word to me, overreach. Did you use the word overreach because of some of the things we're talking about? Or maybe do you feel like they're overreaching what the intent of the Michigan Act was?
The former, not the latter. Because if they were overreaching the statute,
Yeah.
then I would have something to sink my teeth into. They're not overreaching the statute. They're in full compliance with the statute. What I meant was, what got me going to have the discussions I did was the fact of how much running of their lines they want to do through all of the right-of-ways. And that's where I wanted them to demonstrate how that's not overreaching. Is that an unreasonable request of a community? So legally, I don't think it's an unreasonable request of a community that could get us out of the permit issuance. But what we can do, because it is new and it's the first of its kind in Michigan for us, is demand these license agreements, which they are cooperating with. And again, I've seen the examples. They sent me the examples they used in Illinois, and I found them pretty okay.
Does anyone in Illinois have the rental of their conduit? Any communities that you're aware of besides downtown?
Oh, yeah, I would not know that, no.
I mean, it seems to me if it's our public property and other people might have the need to come through our conduit, especially.
But it's not your conduit, it would be their conduit. If you built your own, you mean?
If we built our own conduit unit in Bingham Farms, and when Detroit Edison says everything now has to go, they'd have to come to us, wouldn't they? To use our conduit.
I don't know about Edison, but that's a really big decision that
A lot of money.
you would really want to study,
Yeah.
whether or not it's going to be worth it.
It's almost like running a business.
Yeah.
I
It's a
mean,
business.
It is a business. It would definitely
You
be
wanna
running a
invest?
business.
I'm out. So if she wants to invest.
So that's
she
something you could do
Yeah.
in your condo,
Yeah.
to bring it into where you guys are. Okay, you have to run through our conduit, but then you have to find a company to put that in. Because we don't have building and grounds here, so we have no option or no way of doing that. Another question that, because we are now we'll have to use our village engineer as well as your time, can we charge them for that time and not using the village engineer?
Probably not, because the act is specific with what we can charge, and it's pretty limited to that permit fee. But the good news is, again, that they gave me the examples, so it's not like I have to draft this from scratch. They gave me the examples of what they've used before, so tailoring it to you it won't be that
Saves a lot of
terrible.
time,
Mhm.
okay.
And maybe some of the engineering that was just done on all the roads could apply.
You probably have to buy that from HRC. HRC
Well,
owns
they're
that
going to
engineering.
do their own. They do
Yeah.
all their own engineering studies, they do all of their own studies, they give us the plan. We just need to go through it and make sure that they've identified utilities accurately. I know this is, keep in mind, I'm sorry, I just put a peppermint in my mouth. You know, this is new. New is never easy. And, you know, back 40 years ago when cable was starting, everyone was like, oh my gosh, you can't put those on our poles, and, you know, and then there was small cells, and then there was different cells, and then the different co-locating and how many feet off the ground, and every step of technology has been met with the same uncertainty, concerns, and then that becomes old hat and you move on to the new thing. So I know it's hard because new and change is hard, but I think it's all going to be okay.
Well, like you said, you're very conservative.
I am.
You move forward with what you know.
Mm,
And we're just saying the same thing.
yeah,
That's all.
we'll work through it. We're going to get through it.
We had a situation where we had something that we've not ever discussed before council, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, about a loan package of some kind in regards to the road program. And all of a sudden, all of this information got thrown on, and we had to vote right then. And I thought to myself, I hope we're never in a situation like that. And right now, I'm feeling like we're in another situation. This is the very first time we've heard about it. And we've got to vote now because the days are running out and they've been so good to let us go farther. And like, why aren't we hearing about this stuff? Why can't we talk to the guy who's in charge of it or who will be in charge of that whole Oakland County project? I mean, I'm just,
Well, and
Yeah.
it's not them, it's the state, right? When you say statute, I mean, it's the state.
Yeah, it's, I mean, the Metro Act really does tie everyone's
I
hands,
mean,
but.
it's the state. It's not like all of a sudden we've been sitting on this and just threw it out and we need a vote. It's this Metro Act that, you know, again, we follow local, state, and federal laws. This is state. And we just have to oblige. I mean, that's just what we do.
For the issuance of the permit, and
Right.
other things will come. But I think, I think that we're smart to be thoughtful, we're smart to ask questions, we're smart to be careful and protect your property. But I think also at the end of the day, you will have far bigger fish to fry coming in front of you. So don't let this feel so onerous. It's just something new. And again, we're going to make sure that we protect our property, and that's what we're here to do. So don't lose sleep over it, is what I'm saying. It's just a new technology, and we just got to figure out how to make it work for us, that's all.
Yeah, it's better feeling that, yeah, once we get engineering drawings, then we're gonna know, like, what this is really gonna look like, and if we're concerned, like, yeah, they're putting this huge box in the middle of my front yard, then we talk about, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah, move
What-
that box. The other thing about the large boxes is that it may not be in the community of Bingham
Right.
at all.
It could be,
It may be somewhere else. They serve, I forgot how many
right.
miles radius with one box, so it may not even be in our community. If it is, we can talk to them about where to put it so that it's least, of a nuisance.
But shouldn't we know that? I mean,
We
those
will
are-
know that.
We will know, that's,
Yeah, but I don't want them in here indiscriminately putting boxes at the
They
end of
can't.
Bingham Lane.
They can't. They have to apply for a
we're not,
permit.
we're not approving that yet. We're not
Exactly.
approving the engineering drawings, we're not approving where it's going.
Well, we don't get a vote. You said this is the vote. We don't get to vote on anything.
So the vote right here is to simply say, you may come on the village property right-of-way to figure out what you want to do.
Right.
That's all you're voting on tonight.
And
And
then-
that we have to do by the Metro Act.
Right, but we don't have another occasion where we look at the material that they're presenting, they're preparing, to say, well,
You will.
we don't want that.
You will, the
You will.
license agreement, that we're going to come back. It's going to outline all the details. And you get to approve that agreement or not approve that
So there
agreement.
will be another vote.
Yes, that's the
Okay.
agreement part.
I thought you had said
Well,
there were
that's why
not.
I agree with Kathy. I was under the impression.
Yeah, you said no more
Once we
votes.
vote to give them this permit, we may have some say-so, but they're coming in.
So other communities don't care about seeing the license
Right.
agreement. They just leave that to the lawyers. I'm hearing that you do want to see the license agreement, and so I will make sure in that agreement are all of the ifs, ands, whats, whys, and then you will get to see that, and that you will get to vote on then, whether you want us to enter the agreement or not.
But you're the one that's not gonna negotiate this license agreement with them?
With the manager to make sure that everything is where the manager wants it to be, because they have to also get other permits to mount something on public right-of-way. There's other permitting. So the word permit is hard, because this permit is like here, it's low level, it's introductory, it's what we have to do. The rest of the permits come from staff who's going to monitor what they're doing, and then all of this will be packaged together in this agreement that you want to see, and we will bring back to you.
just like
So
when,
I'm still confused about the license agreement that we're gonna be asked to vote on.
Yes.
All the engineering aspects of this project, will that be a negotiated situation that we're now presented with?
If necessary. What they present to us may be fine. If there's things in it that are concerning, we're going to go back to them and say, we're concerned about this. Here's our utility. You're too close to it. You're going to have to move it. No, we don't like where you're putting this box, if there has to be a box in
And what
the,
if they say, too bad, that's where we have to put it to make this work? who wins the negotiation?
We're going to work our very best to negotiate to your favor all day long. So I can't, we got to wait to see as things come. And as they come, we're going to do our best to give you the very best protection we can in a document that you will get to review, digest, and vote on. And we'll make sure that the representative is here, and we'll tell them that it's not getting signed and executed without their presence.
Can they sue us for being unreasonable?
They sure can. They sure can.
And where's that, where's our line where we can't be?
I can't
too
promise
unreasonable?
and tell you where a line is until I know where that line exists.
Okay.
Sometimes communities just have to do things for the betterment of the community. And eventually, nobody's even gonna see the box. Like the pole in my backyard that somebody probably had a fit over, you know, originally. And then now it's just, everybody just goes to the poles. So, I mean, there's only so much control we have.
This was a few years ago when there was not co-locating. What these different companies were doing is everyone wanted to put up their own pole all over. And, you know, the state got together and said, no, you got to co-locate. You can't ask communities to have 50 poles all over. So now they have to co-locate. And they'll say, well, I don't want to be down here, I want to be up here. And they'll be like, well, here's the space, you have to co-locate. When I say we, I mean municipalities, the state, and agencies work these things out. These things will get worked out with these kinds of companies. This is the first, there will be many others to follow, I would guess.
Another thing I wanted to note, Metro Act permits come before this council with a lot of regularity. We voted on them in the past. The biggest difference here is this is going underground. Is it different? Yes. Do we have to be careful to watch out for right-of-way? Yes. It sounds like Mary's on it. The other thing to keep in mind, because it's more complicated and they're going underground, just like she said, there's all these other regulatory bodies that are going to be interested in protecting their infrastructure. If they're going underground, they have to watch out for the water main, they have to watch out for the sewer, they have to watch out for Consumers Energy's gas lines. They're not going to have an easy job here, so I really don't see them not being cooperative with license agreements and other.
It behooves them, it's all
Yeah.
about this, right? If they're not making us happy, they're not going to make money. So it's,
Okay, so,
Yeah, it's going to go through our engineers too, that's the other thing I'm looking for.
so there's a suggested motion in your packet. Anybody would like to make a motion, or I will? I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution and approve the Metro Act application of Easy Fiber Texas LLC and the Metro Act permit. In addition, authorize the village manager to sign the bilateral form on behalf of the village. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
One more time, I want to ask a question. If we decide to vote tonight and it doesn't pass, can it be brought back to the table again next month? Or what does voting mean at this point?
so if you vote no and you withhold the simple Metro Act permit that they are applying for $500, and they have complied with everything they need to put in their application, and we deny it, they can deem that as an unreasonable withholding of the Metro Act permitting application, and they can institute a suit in most likely the Oakland County Circuit Court, but they could also try to pull us down to Texas, wherein they are, thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. Feels like extortion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure
Well,
does.
it's, again, this is nothing new about this permit from the Metro Act that's been in existence for 25
Yeah,
years.
I think, again, I'll be quiet. I think that's all good. The technology's fine. The technology exists. It's not new technology. It's just another, it's competition, and that's good. But we don't, I mean, this company is we're going to agree to do something with a company we have zero knowledge about. Zero.
And trust them with our village.
And that's what I don't that's what I understand everything we've said, I just don't understand how we can feel like we have no option, and maybe we don't, nobody else is coming to the table. Companies that we might know don't seem to be coming to the table. So a company from Texas comes to the table and we go, gotta do it. It just feels.
We have to comply with the Metro Act.
Yeah, this whole thing is about the Metro Act and unreasonably withholding an application that's legal as to form and substance. And I know it does feel that way. There is a lot of municipalities that really dislike the Metro Act for these kinds of reasons.
Has anyone denied a permit that you're aware of?
In this case, with this company, not that I'm aware of, no.
We have a motion and a second. So, I feel like we should do a roll call for this.
Right. Miller?
Aye. Yes, whatever the word is.
Vic Alexander?
Yes.
Michigan?
No.
Howard?
Yes.
Hageman?
Aye.
Cerrone?
Yes.
Blackman?
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Sure. Your explanation of it all.
Now, this is, if I can throw this in, then, for instance, 1, 2, 3, or WOW, or anybody else can come in and do exactly the same thing. Am I correct? So they
Yes.
would have to also apply through the Metro Act
Yes,
to come in, okay.
yes.
Just like Comcast, right? I mean, that's what all the other
Comcast has, AT&T has,
They
yeah.
all done it.
Yeah.
Okay, next is the committee liaison report discussion.
I was the one that brought this up to Jamie last week. And it's, I've been thinking about this for a while. We need to know, I think, what goes on in the committee meetings. I mean, pretty much a lot of us are already on one, or if not more than one committee. That's because then, as we have a voice of the village at that particular venue, we also are a contributing member. And then we can bring back anything that's important or pertinent to this body that would be beneficial to the village. I know sometimes there's nothing to report, i.e. it's minutes, pretty much something, basically what we did on the zoning. There's really nothing to report. But at that point, then you say, no, I don't have anything. However, something like what goes on with the planning commission would be nice if we had a report here to tell us, okay, this is what went on. I feel like that would be a valuable contribution to not only to us, but then because this also goes out on video, also for the good for the community. For instance, I did a report last time, and for instance, on the cable board, we actually had a meeting this month. One of the things to report was there was a power outage at the Beverly Hills office, so pretty much all the sound equipment and video equipment is going to have to be replaced. That will then either be covered by insurance and/or BACB. Second thing is, I don't know if any of you have seen this, but Tuesday, November 4th, there is the annual 40th anniversary of BCTV at their studio up in Bloomfield Hills. I think it goes from 11 to 7, 11 o'clock to 1 or 2. They have a chili cook-off, and the rest of the time is a celebration of them being there for 40 years. So for the fire commission, one of the things we did was we approved a 3% raise for all the fire employees, and the firefighter that was injured in last summer's fire, if you guys remember that one, he is now back on duty. So that would be my presentation of what happened to the two committees that I'm on. So I'm just asking, that should be just an annual or another monthly thing.
An agenda item.
Yeah, I don't even think we have to vote on it, just say, yep, let's do it.
Reports.
Yep.
I figured to change an agenda, we probably have to vote on it, right? to change an agenda format. I don't
Probably
know.
so, right? Yeah.
I don't have a problem with anything you said. I feel like deja vu, like we discussed this before. I think we've discussed this before. And I think that's kind of what the comment, like you usually use the trustee comments to put in your kind of an update.
I have in the past, yes.
Right. So I think that's what we kind of decided was that was the trustee comment time.
I think calling it out as a separate agenda item has a lot more validity than just squeezing everything into the trustee comments.
The only thing I would
Okay.
ask is if anything was going to be discussed, it would need to go into the packet. So it would need to come to the village the week before. So if anything was going to be discussed, that council would have the information before the meeting. So we're not kind of playing catch-up and spending a lot of time.
I think
We can do that.
yeah. But the liaison serves a purpose, bringing the information from that committee to the board. That's the whole role of a liaison, and that's exactly what our staff appointments are, liaisons. So I think having the committee reports
Do you have
on
thoughts
the
on this?
agenda.
No.
Yeah, it would be helpful to have something in the packet ahead of time. Yeah.
Well, I think it's also interesting that, like, at Next, I hear a liaison report from Franklin and Beverly Hills. I learn a lot about what's going on in our Southfield Township community. And I could share that with you as well. I mean, between chickens and deer and all sorts of other things, there's a lot of changes in some of the communities.
I try to throw a lot of that stuff too in my manager's reports every week.
Yeah, but I'm at the meetings, so I hear
Yeah.
firsthand what's going on. Yeah, I think, I'm not sure why you need to know specifically what the report is, but we can provide it.
I'm not saying that, I'm just saying if there's gonna be something that's gonna be up for discussion, that information would need to come ahead of time.
Well, I think the only change is moving it from trustee comments to a specific line
Yeah.
item, right?
That's
It's the
what I'm
same-
recommending.
The same information is gonna be conveyed.
Yeah.
And whether we
Right.
have a specific line item for the
Yeah.
liaisons or just do it in trustee comments. It's the same information, it's just which
Yeah.
agenda.
But if it's
Do
a
we put it
separate
in?
agenda item, we have to pay specific attention and bring it forth in
Yeah.
our heads. And that's why I think it's a good idea to have it be a special item on the agenda, ongoing.
Some communities enlist it separately as like after your treasurer report, the next one would be a committee report or communications, where people send in letters and things like that, it's included in the packet. Sometimes there's a written report, sometimes there's not. The only thought that's running through my mind is that you do have a couple of quasi-judicial committees and boards that are quasi-judicial through state jurisdictional authority. Your BZA, which you guys are, and your planning commission. So a planning commission is given the jurisdictional power to make decisions, sometimes to make decisions, and sometimes to make recommendations. And if they're a recommending body to you, it
Mhm.
comes before you for final decision.
Mhm.
And I know, are you on that as a
Mhm.
voting member?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyone else, or just you as a voting member?
Just me.
So, I'll tell you where this gets a little tricky, including for reports. And that is, and I'd be happy to, I have this document that I've created, and I can make it germane to Bingham and just send it to you for reading. It's nothing we have to decide now, but it's something maybe to think about. There's some attorney general opinions in some cases that say that if there is this thing like a planning commission, that the legislative bodies shouldn't even be attending those meetings or going to those meetings or attending those meetings, because your mere presence can be influential on those people you appoint. So, in smaller communities where you have less volunteers, frankly, the rules get a little softer. But I don't think it's wise that you have a report saying, at the Planning Commission, we discussed X, Y, Z, this is how they voted, when that is going to come in front of you for a vote.
Well, I guess we should separate, like, Planning Commission is
Yes.
a public entity, and it is public in its meetings and all of that, so it
Yes.
lives on its own.
Yes.
Whereas going to the fire meeting and going to the next meeting, like, those are, well, I guess.
Those are entities that we fund.
Semi-public, but not governmental public, I guess I'll say,
But the
right?
fire commission, he's a voting member on that
I'm a
board.
voting member, yeah. Well,
But
both
that-
committees are voting
But
members.
doesn't necessarily come here, does it, for votes on things?
Oh, I see what you're
Budget.
saying, is if there's a
The
voting
budget
choice.
or
Budget does,
purchases.
yeah.
Yeah. So I
So,
think.
okay, so that gets a little.
Yeah, it does get a little sticky. So I think what you could do is have a section of committee reports and committee or comments and things like that. But for those items that might come in front of you for a vote, at maybe that month you don't report. Let the action be the report. You know what I'm saying? Am I
Mhm.
making
Yeah,
this as
well,
clear as
because even
mud?
next is, I'll say maybe simpler, but still, we're voting to give money
Right.
to next
Mhm.
from a budget perspective.
And Baldwin, even more money to Baldwin.
Right, so,
Yeah.
but next, I don't know, most of what's happening at next is just information.
Fun things.
It's fun things. And-
But there's been a pretty big thing with that whole building.
Right, yeah,
But-
yeah,
but-
that
but-
is a
but
big
if-
deal.
But
That was a
that's
big deal.
her discretion to understand, no, don't, in the report, you can say there was a topic,
Right.
but no extra information because it may affect a vote that we have to make.
Exactly, exactly. So report, report the stuff, but not the meat and potatoes. That's going to be a vote. And all of you, I think, are professional people that you can make that judgment call. Because we don't want there ever to be the accusation that you're influencing. Like if you're reading, you should know that the planning board is going to recommend
Right.
that we X, Y, Z. That's where we get into deep trouble. So use smart discretion, and then I think the committee reports could be appropriate. Make sense? And that other thing I'm talking about, all I gotta do is change some names and things, and I'll send it to you just to think about and digest.
That's a bigger,
That's a bigger thing that I'm just gonna send to you all to think about and digest. In fact, I had it pulled for somebody else, and as you were talking, it went ding, ding, ding. And I'll just send that to you as a little Thanksgiving gift.
Thank you.
So I don't know, do we need to vote on this to
You
change
should
the
vote-
agenda?
Yes, you should vote to change the agenda to add a topic of committee and board reports.
Committee and board reports. Do you want to make a motion? Include the words committee and board reports.
I move that we have a separate agenda item that would include committee and board reports.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is the 2026 meeting schedule approval. Jamie?
So these are the dates for our meeting schedule for next year. There's a change due to Memorial Day and then also the holidays because we will be closed on the 28th. So I moved that to the 21st, but otherwise they are all the usual fourth Mondays. So a motion is appropriate to approve the calendar unless there's any objections or anything.
I make a motion to approve the 2026 calendar for the village trustee meetings.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We will move to the treasurer's report, which Jamie is standing in for our treasurer today. So if you want to introduce the November 2025 bills.
Yes. I'm the treasurer now. No. I won't talk as much as Bill, but all the bills.
You can be more like Chief Lawson and say, are there any questions to the report?
All the bills were paid. The more difficult ones were, library, which I did put in my manager's report last week. Yeah, so nothing out of the ordinary. We kept all our regular bills paid, so all is good.
Thank you. Is
A motion to
Is there a
approve.
motion to approve the November 2025 bills?
I'll motion that we approve the November 2025 bills.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, I've also got the financial statements, revenue expenditure reports in there. Again, nothing out of the ordinary, so nothing really to note unless there are any questions.
The only thing that I would bring up is kind of what I brought up before, that all the monies that we're spending for the engineering for the PUD going on, can we bill those people for that money?
What do you mean by those people?
In other words, the owners of, that are trying to get the PUD, I forgot their name, whoever is coming in asking for the PUD. Can we,
as far as the
Right.
PUD, yes.
can
yes.
we then send them all the monies that we have to spend for our
For
engineers?
the PUD, yes.
Yes.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep, for sure. Yep.
I believe that's actually in our PUD ordinance, that the applicant is responsible for any fees
Okay.
associated with the
Yeah.
project.
Okay,
Yep.
good. I didn't see it in there, that's why I was asking.
Yeah, yep.
Okay,
As well as legal expenditures.
Yes.
exactly, yeah,
Yes.
All fees.
yes.
Okay.
On that, I motion that we accept the financial statements for October 2025.
November.
Nope, this is October.
Yeah, this is,
It's always the past month. This
The
month is
past
not
month.
over, we can't give you
yeah,
statements
it's
for this
from,
month.
it's for October.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry, mine says November.
No problem.
Oh, sugar, sorry, I probably said. Sorry.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh,
You want a roll call?
On financials, you should do a roll
Okay,
call vote.
let's do a roll call.
okay, let's do roll calls.
All right. Blackburn,
Aye.
Hageman,
Aye.
Mashidian,
Aye.
Howard,
Aye.
Jerome,
Aye.
McAlexander,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Did we roll call for bills? Okay. Next is the HRC Road Phase 1 project, not to exceed balance update.
Yep. That's just informational. It's the same information Bill provides to you every month. We are still under budget, and I don't believe, thanks. I don't believe a motion is typically taken on this one,
No,
but
no,
it's just
that's
informational, just informational. Yep,
It's 152,000 remaining that we have not let go.
correct.
And do we feel that that is going to be billed within the next couple of weeks? Are they coming close to that punch list demand?
Well, this 152, that's the remainder of the allowance for engineering fees for this part of the project. It's not an amount that hasn't been billed yet, it's an amount that they haven't incurred costs for to bill us yet.
The engineers.
Okay.
Do we see them getting close to
That's
that?
the amount of money left in the budget for
Yeah.
the engineering fees.
So,
And they may or may not
It's just an
spend it.
estimate, yeah. We don't know, but
We don't know how much
how's it,
that will actually
how's it
be
going
for.
so
so
far?
are we getting close to the punch list completion so that we don't have to incur more costs?
They're getting,
You talked to Brad more recently than I have. so.
Yeah, they're getting close, yep. So HRC is dealing with Florence, and then Florence is dealing with their subcontractors, and they're close, is what I'm told, yes.
Are there any other questions about the not to exceed balance? Okay, then we will move to trustee comments.
No comment.
Comment?
Everybody have a nice Thanksgiving.
That's nice, thank you.
No comment?
At the last meeting, as a follow-up to open business, we had decided to form a committee on the deer culling issue, and we have not yet done that, and it was not on this month's agenda. I would like to see that on next month's agenda, so we follow through with the motions that we make.
I can,
That's fine. We made a motion to do that, but not immediately. Like, there's no way that's happening anytime soon, to be honest with you. Our staff just absolutely is like drowning right now. And they have to be involved because we made a motion to make it an official committee. So they would have to attend the meetings, have minutes, post the meetings, do all those things. And it is just not, right now, I mean, I'm just gonna, it's
but
just
we made a
not.
motion and we passed it. And I now have people calling me, telling me they want to be on the committee. And even it's an advisory committee, it's not a deciding, it's an investigative advisory committee that's looking into what Franklin, Beverly, all the other surrounding communities are doing. And we have a gentleman that's been a lifetime experienced hunter, and he talks about behavior of the deer. I mean, he's really in touch with that. And what's legal in Beverly Hills, they actually can hunt in certain areas of the village, and they do. And
You don't have to sell the
so-
whole idea to me.
but I'm
What I'm
saying
telling
it's
you
a
is our
valuable
staff
thing.
doesn't have time. We voted to do that in the future. That doesn't mean that it's gonna happen immediately. There's a lot to it, and even if it's an advisory committee, so was the roads committee, and we just had a FOIA brought forward, and all of the minutes from all of those meetings were part of that FOIA. So we cannot meet, just sort of informally. And this is why during that meeting I said it would be better to have it be informal. I'm the only one that voted to not do this because I know that our staff right now, especially one down, does not have time to do this right now. So yes, we voted that it would be looked at. That doesn't mean it's going to be looked at immediately. It has to be prioritized based on what our staff can handle.
so, Mary, if it's an advisory committee, is that something that has to be published?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a difficult thing to do? I mean, I could do it.
You can't do it. Our staff would do it. They have to be posted just like these meetings are posted.
Right.
Do you want a job?
Well, I don't mind. If you're, I
That is our
understand
staff,
being
that is an
short-staffed
administrative
that you don't
duty.
have. I'm a gopher. I
That
could
is an
be-
administrative duty. Just because we're down a staff doesn't mean that council people can start taking over administrative duties.
Not
They
taking
also
over.
have to attend the meetings, take the minutes, post the minutes, do all those things. I'm
just
sorry.
offering to help you.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I've also been really
Sorry.
involved, as you probably read in my manager's
I
reports,
did.
attending the deer.
I did.
Yeah,
Yes.
management meetings.
But see, but you attended
the-
alone, not with
the-
other committee members who
the-
could have come with you.
Yeah, the soonest, there's two communities that are hoping to start calling in 2026. The next one would be Livonia in 2027. It all takes a long time, a lot of money, studies, and a lot of the communities have public land. I know I worked for a community for many, many years that we had public land and we did allow hunting. We don't have public land here, so we have those challenges too, so, yeah.
Yeah, and I told all the people that were volunteering for it, that it's not something that's immediate. This is a long-range study that has to take place.
Right, that our
So-
staff would have to be involved in for
And
years.
plus the fact they have to fill out the volunteer forms, we have to get a message out to the
Staff.
rest of the community.
Staff.
Right, Lisa, I know.
I'm sorry that you have no clue what happens between these meetings. Our staff is working overtime. And just because, I'm just gonna say it, we had 2-3 people stand up and say, oh, we want a deer call. And all of a sudden, council has to jump and say how high. Our staff is very overworked right now. There's a lot of people in this
So
community.
I'm offering to come in, answer the phone, whatever. I can do a lot.
That is not, oh my
I
God.
ran a business. I mean, I'm sure I can help with
Oh,
something.
God, help me.
What we're
You are a
talking-
council person. You are not administrative staff.
Same goes for you, Lisa.
I know, but I'm a lot closer to the administrative staff than a trustee.
But Kathy can come in, if she wants to come into the office and do things and help, she can.
I don't know about that.
I don't,
Well, Okay, never mind.
I'm not gonna
Never
answer
mind.
that on the fly. I'd have to look to see
Not
if
an
there's
issue.
something that bars an elected official from giving assistance to staff. I think the bigger question is if staff would want the legislative elected persons to come in and help. So,
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm just saying, we voted to do it, we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that it supersedes everything else that's going on in the village.
We didn't say it.
And our staff has made it clear to me, and I know that they don't have time right now to be investigating and attending meetings and posting meetings and taking minutes and posting minutes on a deer call. I mean, I don't think people realize just how intense. First of all, we have no public land, so we'd have to have sharpshooters on private land. I mean, right there, I mean, God, that's not a good idea. But aside from all of that, this would be like you said, a year to two studying. We haven't even talked about phase 2 of the roads yet. We've made a commitment to the rest. I know you all live in the Bingham Lane area, but we have a whole other half of the community that doesn't have a brand new road. We haven't even talked about phase 2, let alone phase 3.
We tried
When?
at the meeting when they voted, and I think somebody said, well, what about Bristol? And we couldn't come to an agreement on what the amount they'd pay each family, and I remember Aaron made the comment, and then he said, well, let's just vote then. And we voted to do north of 13. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is not gonna end well.
It
because-
is gonna end well. We're doing
Well-
phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. It's very laid out.
What's the phase
But
three?
because, okay, so you voted on it, but you didn't know. Phase 1 is north of 13, Bingham, everything that's done. Phase 2 is gonna be the cement roads from and Old Stage and
Old Stage and Coach Light.
Coach Light.
I
Phase,
thought it was Bristol.
and then phase, but we haven't even decided the order. Phase 3 will be Bristol.
Right.
So, but because we got the grant, we're probably gonna do the 2 smaller roads, and that'll also give us another year to save for Bristol. But, I mean, we absolutely have made a commitment to the community that we are going to do all the roads. So, I mean, this whole thing has been a lot. There's still 2 more phases that have to go,
Right.
probably next year and the year after.
That would be great.
So that pushes off any other committees or any other topics for more, 2 or 3 years then? Right. Is that what you're
Possibly,
saying?
we've got the PUD,
So we
that's gonna be
can't-
huge. The PUD
we
is
can't take on any
absolutely
new
gonna take
projects?
priority. I mean, we are a teeny, teeny, tiny community, and we have very, very big projects going right now. And just because 2 or 3 people stand up and say, we don't like the deer, does not mean that our staff has to work overtime to accommodate what a couple of people decided they're upset about. I mean,
Actually,
we
it's
hear.
more than that, and it's been going on for years. You don't hear it, but it's been at our HOA meeting for the last several years.
Well, maybe your HOA
So-
should talk about it.
We have.
Okay,
But
then
I'm just
have a
saying-
deer call in your HOA.
Okay,
Okay, Kathy. I've said enough. Do you have any trustee comments?
more than that.
Just happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Are there any other trustee comments? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 8:30.
Happy Thanksgiving.